Then at 8:30, that award-winning Hollywood favourite, Goodbye Mr. Chips. A great evening's viewing on 7 tonight. VFL Premiership Football, proudly brought to you by Nissan Australia, Carlton and United Breweries, your State Insurance Office and State Bank Victoria.
At VFL Park, Hawthorn returns to the scene of its triumph last week to take on the rampaging Bombers, who've won their last 4 games. It was a must-win for Kevin Sheedy's boys to try to cement their hold on 5th spot. And at Princes Park, it was the battle of 2 of the co-tenants, the Blues playing host to Fitzroy, who last weekend destroyed the West Coast Eagles. All the action on Saturday Night Replay. Very good evening, everyone, and welcome to Saturday Night Replay. We are, of course, up to round 18, in which we had 4 games played today, and we'll be concentrating our attention in the main on the big games at VFL Park, where Hawthorn took on Essendon, and Princes Park, where the Blues lined up against co-tenants Fitzroy. Scott Palmer has the latest from the rooms, and Footy Flashbacks takes in all the action from this round in seasons past. First to league headquarters, where the Hawks were out to consolidate top spot and the Bombers defend their position in the 5. Essendon was going for its 5th win on end and had possibly its best side in for the year with the re-inclusion of Danaher, Salmon and Baker. Hawthorn had to replace the suspended Robert Di-Domenico, while Kennedy came in for his first game of the year, and making his debut was young Dean Anderson, formerly of Caulfield Grammar. Last time around, incidentally, Hawthorn won by 51 points at Princes Park on round 11, and on that occasion, Essendon was without Baker, Hawker and Somerville, and lost Buick and Harvey during the course of the game. Today's match also saw Jason Dunstall striving to become the first Hawk since Peter Hudson to notch 100 goals in a season. And tonight we pick up the action with some 5.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Hawthorn is leading by 10 points. Our commentators are Drew Morford, Peter McKenna and...
Very quiet here at VFL Park at the moment. Tuck gets the hand pass back to Langford. Dangerous kick this perhaps. Chance for Buick. Tidied up by Abbott. Through that by the looks. Put Langford under the hammer. Izard for one of his few kicks. Centering kick. Clever mark by Ayres. Twisted round like a corkscrew, but finished up where the ball was. Hall. Again overhead, Tony Hall.
He is a very good player, this man. His first year in VFL football, and well, he'll only get better and better all the time. There's Brereton, unselfishly taps it over the top. That's why he's such a good player. Pritchard went without the ball. This is Hamilton. Onto the left foot he goes. Deer, oh, good play to punch it away. Izard, a chance for him, but Deer still working hard. That allows Tuck to crash his way through. He's playing better now, Tuck. Buckenara has had a good quarter also as he brings it towards half forward. This looks like Gowers on the ground, and I think it is. Andrew Gowers, yes, with the long sleeves, has come onto the ground and taken a lovely mark at half forward. The leader's on by Curran. He's at the back. Can he go? A poor kick by Gowers. Straight in the hands of Paul Hamilton.
Hamilton, who's had the job on Dermott Brereton today. And Brereton restricted to 8 possessions. Mark Harvey, who had a spell earlier this quarter at full forward. 2 grabber by Madden and the mark paid. Well, another goal by Essendon and they can get right back into this. Kick by Madden to half forward. Terry Danaher pulls in a good one.
Yeah, great mark, Danaher. He did look as though he was a little bit restricted there with that leg.
Been on the bench twice today, the Essendon skipper. Didn't look restricted then. O'Donnell's had a great game. Oh, but his pass is poor to Izard. And Ayres can't believe his luck.
Well, they've fallen down there all day. Platten, very often he fumbles, he gets shoved out of the way. A chance for Brian Whitten. The hand pass over the top. Here's the goal coming up to Salmon. Yes!
Well, that's a costly fumble there by Hawthorn. It looked as if they were running out of defence very easily. And now that makes a difference. Only 4 points, but very poor play. Who's that coming off the ground?
Pritchard, I feel.
Pritchard having a rest. Here's the fumble there by Platten. Good strong play by Winton to get in there, put 2 Hawthorn players out of the way. Long handball over to Salmon and a very easy goal, but very bad defence there from Hawthorn.
I wouldn't have Peter Schwab off the ground too often, Bernie, if I was Hawthorn.
Well, if you had seen his game last week, you'd wonder why he'd be off at all.
Well, there's Darren Pritchard, and he's been replaced, I'm sure, because of that incident there.
So less than a kick in it now. Madden wins in the middle. Izard does the roving. Can the Bombers lift after that goal by Salmon? Up to half forward, and Schwab straight back on the ground for a mark. Off the side of the boot, and that might beat Hall out of play. In between the wing and half forward for Essendon. Russell Morris about to come back on the ground for the Hawks. Madden to do battle with Deere. Well, neither of them. Terry Danaher. Yes, what a game he's had. Platten, and kicks out of bounds. It's just been one of those days for the Brownlow medalist today. And John Platten has had 8 kicks and 4 hand passes. Curran goes off, replaced by Morris.
Well, the Bombers, they're only 4 points down and a goal here, and if they hit the front, it could be a different ball game. Oh, cleverly done by Deere to tuck hand past a man who was covered. But he has played a good quarter, Tuck, to Anderson. This is Dean Anderson. Quick, oh, the Hawthorn man crunched in the head by Wallace. In front of the umpire, he let it go. Tuck towards half forward. What a fantastic mark that was by Tony Hall.
Unbelievable. Running with the flight of the ball. He could have been really cleaned up there, Tony Hall, but he kept his eyes on it and took the one grabber.
7th mark for the day. Brereton underneath it, or Morris rather. Off the ground, Whitman. Burst through the tackle. Up to Buckenara. Well, he's given Baker a real hurry-up since the first quarter. Dunstall at the back. Yes!
Magnificent pass.
Yeah, beautiful pass there by Buckenara, but I thought Danaher gave him a little bit too much latitude. Took a long time to get back to cover Jason Dunstall. Well, how do you do from 2 old sparring partners?
Oh, gee. You wouldn't like to meet either of them in a dark night and be unfriendly. And, well, there's a bit of humour in football.
They look like they're enjoying themselves.
Jason Dunstall kicks for goal, but somebody's come over the mark. He's
He's reversed it against Brereton.
Oh, that's bad.
Well, I reckon they were both doing it. I think that's a poor decision.
Well, maybe Dermott took his chance.
Well, that's the siren, and Brereton is forward to forward with umpire Clayton.
Well, I don't blame him. They were both pushing and shoving. Ridiculous grandstanding, that is.
And that has cost Jason Dunstall a goal. It was an absolute certainty, and he still needs 3 for his century. 3-quarter time here at VFL Park. Controversial end of the 3rd quarter. Hawthorn 7-11, Essendon 7-7.
An amazing decision, and this was likewise amazing. Brereton deciding then to run through the Essendon huddle at 3-quarter time, and he really tried to spread eagle a few bodies. He almost got through unscathed, but had a little bit of trouble getting through the last couple of players, and it really was a steamed-up Dermott Brereton that ultimately made his way back to the Hawthorn huddle at 3-quarter time. Anybody's game at the final change, with the league leaders leading by only 4 points. Let's go back now to the start of the final quarter at VFL Park.
And it could be pretty lively in this final quarter. Hawthorn leading by just 4 points. Greg Anderson goes over the top with a hand pass. Wallace trying to run onto it. Hall is back there for Hawthorn. Kennedy clean bowled, allowing Baker in. Pops it up high. Salmon's got the height, but can't take the mark. Schwab's there. Comes back to Salmon. Schwab again. McGuinness, and Kennedy sees the ball out.
Gee, they're good in defence, Hawthorn. I thought they were in big strife there. But once again, they're able to force it to the boundary line. And Salmon probably should have held that mark. He was in perfect position. There he is, punching it away, though. Peter Schwab dives on it. A clever hand pass to Abbott. Abbott straight to Watson. Timmy Watson, the long kick at goal, off the side of the boot and out of bounds on the full. And, well, that kick, in fact, it was touched off the boot, so it'll be a throw-in. And there's Kevin Sheedy, not too happy. 7-11 plays 7-7, 4 points the difference, and that goal given away by Brereton could be very, very costly in the long run. Salmon is held to him, said umpire Ross Castle, and the bounce will take place about 20 metres out from the Essendon goal.
Yes, it was going to be a gimme goal for Jason Dunstall just before three-quarter time until the umpire reversed the decision and free kick Dermott Brereton. Here's Anderson. Dean Anderson, the first gamer for Hawthorn. Loses it. Buckenara. Watson. Watson playing on Buckenara now. High. Langford can't take the mark. Ayres is there. Good tackle by Buick. Chance for O'Donnell. Back he goes to Terry Danaher. To Buick, who had time to have a look. Went the thump, but there was nobody there. McGuinness. A lot of pressure in these packs now. Buick. Schwab, oh, McGuinness, great vision, and he goes back to Ayres.
Well, fantastic defence that by Hawthorn as Ayres again to Hall. Can he take another one? He can't this time, but Whitman's there and Hall's on his own. He can't quite get it back to him, but he's looking for Gowers instead. Andrew Gowers started on interchange and played over a half on the bench. I wouldn't say played on the bench, he was sitting on the bench. And you can see there's 22.5 minutes to go in this quarter. Madden and Deere. The next goal vitally important. Oh, Hall has worked overtime down there to Anderson. Back it comes towards Hall, doing all the heavy work. Watson, a clever one to Harvey. Harvey, a very highly skilled player, brings it to the centre of the ground. The mark is dropped. That could be costly. Look at Hall crashing his way in. Play on, said the umpire. Now he'll come in and bounce an umpire in plate.
At quarter time, the Bombers led by 3 points. The Hawks led at half time by 2, and at three-quarter time by 4 points. No addition in the final term. The Hawks still lead by 4. Deere's tap is intercepted by Hamilton. Baker punches from behind. Kennedy picks up the crumbs and kicks 50 metres to half forward. Duckworth punches out. It goes to Tim Watson. He's caught by Brereton. There's Bailey getting one of his few kicks for the day. Out wide, here's Platten. Had the fumbles, and that's out of bounds on the full. No, on the line.
Yeah, I think it just landed on the line.
So the boundary umpire will throw it in.
I've never seen Johnny Platten fumble so much as he has today. He's normally a one-grab man, but it's pretty slippery out there. Deere again to Brereton, and caught one across the head, and he made sure umpire Ian Clayton's. Well, Ian Clayton's not bearing a grudge because Brereton's got the free kick, much to the disgust of the Essendon supporters. Gowers and Morris. Morris, the big fist away. He's looking for Chris Whitman, and Whitman takes it over the line. But certainly Hawthorn look more dangerous when they do get it into attack.
Oh, gee, if Brereton has been reported by the goal umpire for that one. This is his second game back after serving 6 weeks. It could have a great effect on Hawthorn's chances in the flag. Foles gets a kick out of defence. Baker thumps up the ground. Hall leads the race. Puts it out wide for Loveridge. Great play by Tony Hall. Loveridge short pass. Beautiful. Brereton. It gets to you every way, doesn't it?
They love to hate him, don't they?
Well, he's the type of player that really thrives on this sort of thing also, Dermott Brereton.
What he badly needs is to kick straight. He's kicked 1 goal 3 today. And this one just sneaks home.
This Nissan Pulsar Vector has all the luxury features usually reserved for big luxury cars like power steering, power mirrors, central locking, power windows, and talk about quiet.
Garlic, the plant that is famous for its unusual smell and medicinal properties, has an interesting history. Sanskrit records show Indians used garlic for its powers 5,000 years ago. Egyptian slaves stopped work on the pyramids when their daily supply of garlic ran out. During World War I, the British pressed the juice from garlic onto soldiers' wounds. While in Russia, garlic is a tradition and queues formed to buy garlic during the flu epidemics. Would you like to try garlic but are put off by the smell? Then try odor-free Kyolic. Kyolic, the king of garlic. Its reputation comes from the unusual aging process, which concentrates 50 minerals, sulfur compounds and enzymes into the famous kyolic extract. Since most people are subjected to city living and convenience foods, I recommend we should take a plant concentrate like kyolic to support our well-being. Kyolic, the king of garlic, you can get from health food stores and chemists. I take kyolic every day.
Call me, don't be afraid, you can call me. I know it's late, but
Just call me.
call me and I'll be around. Now you can have an expert on call anytime, because now you can call Info.
Call me.
All 1,300 info numbers are in this directory.
Call me.
It'll be delivered to your home this week.
But just call me.
Get extra copies from your post office.
I'll be around.
Info 00555. It's all you need to know.
While some people putt around with car rentals, Budget has a real sports offer. This month, for only $70 a day, you can rent any one of our exciting sports cars. Exus, Alika, MR2, and more. So be game. Give us a call.
She always plays by the rules.
You mean I'm being suspended?
Never tempted to take bribes or cheat on the job.
It's purely routine. Out of your hands now.
Now she's accused of taking money for captured native birds.
You're assuming Kathy's guilty. That's your starting point, isn't it?
She simply can't believe the evidence against her.
I just want to see who's throwing these things.
Why has she been dragged into a conspiracy of lies?
You're straight as a die, Ranger friend. Kathy Aiden.
A Country Practice, 7:30 Monday and Tuesday on 7.
Well, a 10-point advantage to the Hawks, and they really have looked the better side since halfway through the second quarter. Hall's been fantastic. He gets it across to Deere. Foles was grabbed. It should be a free kick to Gary Foles. Whitman doesn't like it. There's no doubt about that. Foles at centre-half back. And the way Essendon have been struggling to get goals, it'll take a good effort by them to win the game now. Although the margin's only 10 points. This is Danaher towards half-forward, but uncontested. They're too good in defence, the Hawks, and this is John Kennedy. He's loose men everywhere, and he finds Gary Ayres. What a game he's played, Bernie.
Yes, Essendon have really fallen down at centre-half forward. They've had no one there to really contest or to take a big mark.
Morris picks out Hall, who was 20 metres in the clear. Back into Langford. Up to half-forward. Danaher gets in front of Dunstall. And Danaher doubles back first. Oh, he's crunched. It comes to Whitman. Open goal. And he bangs through another one.
It's Chris Whitman second. Great running play. Good pressure by Hawthorn, as you said, Peter. Anthony Danaher there really didn't know what to do with it once he got it. The pressure was really applied by the Hawthorn forwards. Here it is again. Danaher takes possession. Thought he had a little bit more time, but a great tackle there again by Brereton and Loveridge. Really put the pressure on, spilled out to Whitman, and an easy goal running into the forward line. So Hawthorn still applying plenty of pressure. Their forwards not allowing it to come out of their forward line very easily.
Well, they're getting on top at the moment, the Hawks, as they did halfway through that second quarter. (65-49), so that's 16 points the difference. That's the second time during this game an Essendon player has gone into the centre square and given away a free kick to Greg Deere, who has been terrific today. Deere. There's Morris flying from behind, but no mark. Walsh, smothered brilliantly by Brereton. That allows Pritchard to come in and tackle Hamilton. Hawthorn looking dangerous. Dean Anderson's there. Now Walsh, he's brought down from behind, but gets a quick kick towards the centre of the ground. This is Anderson. Off the side of his boot. Kennedy waits in front of the pack. No mark. Baker. A quick hand pass. Simon Madden's got an open goal. He straightens up. He kicks. It rolls. And it might have been touched, or was it? No, it's a goal.
Ooh, that was a photo finish, that one. Chris Langford threw himself at it desperately. And was it Paul Abbott? Paul Abbott it was. And he just, it was very close. And I thought he had really, that last desperate lunge, I thought he had really made the effort to get there. Have a look at it again. This should be a photo finish. Here goes Abbott. And here's the ball. Here's the photo finish. Ooh, very close. Very close. A hard decision to make.
Well, an important goal for Essendon by Simon Madden from a long way out. margin is back to 10 points. Tuck is buried. Watson loses control. Oh, no free kick in there. Play on, tapped out by McGuinness to Langford. Wide to half forward. Morris does the shepherding for Buckenara. And Buckenara's kick is long to full forward, but dropping short of Dunstall, allowing Hamilton in.
Well, Pritchard was put down behind by a certain Essendon player, one of their vigorous ones. This is Dean Bailey, and half back. Short chip pass, finds Anderson. Another goal of the Bombers, and they'll really lift. Quick kick out wide is to Hamilton, and he almost caught, but gets in a quick hand pass to Folds. Folds hooks it back. Ayres is there, and Peter Schwab, and boy, are they reliable, those two. And look at the way they rebound, the Hawks, because Loveridge is on his own. Well, he could have touched it on the ground, but he had a loose man, or the kick, or Lux of Fortune. Whitman gets a good bounce. Langford towards half forward, but Morris a mile behind. That's holding the ball. And the umpire let it go. Well, there's Hall charging in after Glenn. He was tripped. What a game he's playing.
Yes, he's been great, Tony Hall. 7 marks, 11 kicks and 16 hand passes.
Well, this is a sensational game by Hall, and he's got a loose man if he can get it there. Dunstall, was he pushed? No, said the umpire. Play on as they, again, the Bombers come out of defence. That was Bailey. Number 21 tapping it over the line is Dean Wallace. But really, they just haven't got the same surety when they're using the ball, Essendon, as Hawthorn has.
No, they've fallen away after half-time. I think their half-forward line, they've had a lot of trouble getting it past there.
Salmon from behind. Comes down to O'Donnell. Terry Danaher gets it on the half volley. Ayres is with him. Paddles it. The umpire said through it. Free kick to Terry Danaher. So a chance here for the Bombers if Danaher can get rid of it quickly. Madden's balking and stooging at full forward, but the kick comes in short to Wallace. He's got Buick outside. Down towards the pocket. Poor kick by Buick, really. And a mark by Abbott.
He should have centred that one.
Well, he went the other way, in fact, Madden, so it wasn't good play. Kennedy is marked. Travelled about 12 metres, that kick. Now, he's got the lead from Buckenara, who is on his own out wide. 20 metres away from Watson. Buckenara has played another good game. Beautiful kick again. Tony Hall, what a game. Brought it towards half forward. Morris is there, and Curran. Still think that Morris is a much better player in defence. Kicked away. Now it's play on, said the umpire, as we see Langford with a quick hand pass. Now it's Dean Anderson charging in after it at half forward. He's got it too. He's brought down from behind. Now it's Whitman's turn. He hooks it back. Dunstall and Danaher. They're wrestling, and the umpire sensibly calls play on, and the ball rolls through for a behind of the Hawks. It doesn't look like, as we see the score 66 to 55. I doubt whether he's going to get his 100 today.
Anthony Danaher kicks in. Trying to clear Curran to Baker. But Tuck comes in to take the ball away for the Hawks. Up to Peter Curran. Ball stays in. Walsh. He was shepherded by Bailey behind play. Could start something big. And now Wallace. Oh, beautifully picked up by John Kennedy. You wouldn't know he must miss. Be missing match conditioning and touch. Here's Brereton behind the play with a bit of a box on there with Buick. Essendon up forward. Madden's got the mark. Izard running up into the 50. But covered by Kennedy. Izard dashes away from him. He's got a bit too much pace for John Kennedy. He's had a quiet day though, Izard. Centering. Oh, they almost spoil each other, but Madden takes the mark.
Mark Harvey did his best to spoil Big Simon Madden. Good desperation, I suppose. Both players really had their eyes on the ball, but Simon was good enough to drag that in, but it could have been really messed up by Essendon.
Well, earlier in the quarter, Madden kicked the goal that gave Essendon a bit of a chance. If he can kick another one, they're back within 5 points. Close, not quite. Thumped through by a wall of Hawk defenders.
Yes, and one of those was Chris Langford, will probably go back well. There's Gary Ayres limping, and they wouldn't want to lose him at this stage. He's been superb in defence. How often have we said that, though? There's Russell Morris, who's been on and off the ground a couple of times. Really does play better football in defence, Morris. Swab, Tony Hall again. Oh, hand pass to McGuinness. Terrific play by Hall. McGuinness looking for Dunstall. Over the back, here's a chance for Gowers. Gowers onto the left foot, is under pressure and puts it out of bounds on the full.
Tony Hall's had 17 hand passes. There was one game earlier on this season where he had 23. He's averaging 9 per game, but 23 and 17 in 2 games is fantastic.
Well, this is a superb exhibition. Buick, oh, smothered by Tuck. I reckon this will cost them a goal because Loveridge is loose. Hand pass over the top. Whitman can't control the ball, and they might get out of jail here. Whitman still with it to Curran. Over the back is Gowers. Gowers onto the left foot. He's popped it through, so it has cost them a goal.
Only Johnson's Baby Shampoo has the unique No More Tears formula. In their eyes, no shampoo is gentler.
Just golden hair and eyes of blue.
Johnson's Baby Shampoo, the No More Tears shampoo.
Ever ready. Ever ready.
Ever ready. It's full of life.
This is where the wealthy and the powerful rule. It is her world, a world apart from mine. Her name is Catherine. From the moment I saw her, she captured my heart with her beauty, her warmth, and her courage. I knew then, as I know now, she would change my life forever.
And now Hawthorn with another bit of a break. They lead 72 to 56. Platten gets boot the ball in the middle. Brereton out number 2 to 1. Takes a fine mark. Plays on. Kicks smothered. Bounces off Whitman. But he goes back in for another go. Loveridge clever. Brereton tried to go straight through Baker. Off the side of the boot out wide to the wing. Wallace leads Morris. Dean Wallace taking it defensively. Morris on his hammer. Tried to keep it in, but the ball out of play. Crowd here today, 35,662.
Well, Glenn Hawker was one of those players there on interchange. He has not had a good day. I've never seen him fumble so much either. Buckenara has been superb again. He still got the ball to Curran. Back to Platten. Johnny Platten's had a touch of the fumbles today. Almost a mark to the Bombers, and it will be paid to Billy Duckworth. Duckworth has tried hard. He's only had 8 kicks and 1 handball, but certainly they look. Hawthorn look the fresher side at the moment. Harvey. That was smothered off his boot. Walsh off the ground. This is Morris, who's just come back on. He's got it on centre wing. And a short little chip pass will find Curran.
Ball jolted out of Peter Curran's hands. No 50 for that. And Curran about 60 metres from goal. Been in superb marking form the last couple of weeks, but we haven't seen that today. But how about his passing form? Right on the chest of Richard Loveridge. And Loveridge, 18 possessions. An excellent display around the packs. Right on 50 metres, Richard Loveridge. Dropping just short. And the mark to Madden.
Simon Madden, that last line of defence. Salmon's now up at full forward to Danaher. He's had a couple of spells on the bench too today to Folds. Bit of experience there combining. Baker has gone out of the game somewhat since an outstanding early part of the game. He really dominated. Then again, he hasn't played a lot of football this year. He's found O'Donnell though. He's a greatly improved player. O'Donnell again, a terrific smother, this time by Langford. Terrific play by Hawthorn. They really have smothered well in this quarter. Tuck to Loveridge. And I think the Hawthorn supporters will be delighted with his form.
Going the short pass in to Anderson. He turns 21 on Monday, this boy, university student playing his first game today. Terry Danaher in the middle of the pack, but he pushed his opponent out, and Curran will take the free kick. Standing start. Here's Anderson, unmarked, just outside 50. He's been at the club for 4 years. He's waited a long time to get his first league game, up through the under-19s and reserves. Dunstall's there. Well, roving the pack, Whitman accidentally got boot to ball and gets a score, a minor score. Dean Wallace on the bench. Dixie?
Drew, Dean copped a heavy knock in the stomach. He's just very badly winded, but will be okay if he's needed.
Well, Hawthorn look to have the game in their keeping at the moment, although there is just under 9 minutes to go. There is time for the Bombers, but they've really struggled for goals today against that terrific Hawthorn defence. Here's Anthony Danaher coming up the ground from full-back. That's the way to play it here, straight down the middle. At the back, though, is Abbott, who's gone on to Salmon. Abbott, oh, he beats the Essendon players too and kicks it off the ground, right out towards Andrew Gowers. Gowers is going to be one of those jack-of-all-trades type players. Buckenara's had an outstanding second half. He's found Greg Deere. Deere's all on his lonesome as he comes down the ground. A terrible kick to the Essendon player. Tony Danaher fell over. Madden back to Danaher. They look very tired, the Essendon players. So Paul Hamilton from half-back brings it towards centre wing, and the mark has been taken there by Greg Anderson.
Kicked by Anderson to centre half forward. Salmon is there. Hawthorn at ground level, but it's towed forward for Essendon. That was by Baker. Baker still going. Madden gets it in his direction. Didn't quite carry. And he applies the tackle to Abbott when Abbott didn't quite have it. And a free kick to the Hawthorn big man. Goes towards the outer side of the ground to Anderson. Dean Anderson. Good kick to Hall. Hall on the move. Dunstall, yes! Essendon players claiming there was a bit of a push.
Well, maybe he can still get... If he kicks this one, I've got no doubt, Drew, in the last 7 minutes, I'll look for him.
Well, there's a mark to Danaher. I thought it was just good positioning there from Dunstall. He uses his body extremely well.
This kick for goal from about 40 metres. He's made the distance. Gowers in the goal square. And a mark paid here to Andrew Gowers. What a leap.
He's going to be a good player, this kid.
He looks a good Gowers. He's played a few good games at centre half back. And now up in the forward line, he's showing his worth as well.
Well, that's a great angle from our camera on the boundary. And he's hit the post, hooked it too far.
What amazing, though, that Jason Dunstall wasn't able to make the distance from 40 metres out. Probably just took it that little bit too easy.
And towards the end of the game, there's Alan Joyce. Never seems to change his expression. And towards the end of the game, tired legs, I suppose, Bernie, on a difficult day. Slippery conditions. O'Donnell has done pretty well on John Platten. You can't keep him out all day, Platten, but O'Donnell's done as well as could be expected. 6.5 minutes to go in this game. The Hawks with the game in their keeping.
Possessions there, 21 to 14 in favour of O'Donnell.
Well, he's won that contest then.
Clash there, and Harvey has never been too far away from some of these hard clashes today. Here's a Hawthorn free kick, much to the disgust of O'Donnell, and it's coming back to John Platten. Yes, up until this season, you'd have thought O'Donnell who? And John Platten, the Brownlow medalist. But the honours have gone the other way today. Short passes to Greg Deere. And he can kick pretty well for a big man, this fellow. And he hits the post again. So 2 posters in a row, and they've had 4 all told for the day, Hawthorn.
Well, he's been the best big man on the ground, Greg Deere. There's no doubt about that. We talk about Madden and Salmon, but Deere has taken them both on today, and he's done particularly well, particularly around the ground, as we see the kick from Tony Danaher finds Hamilton. He brings it to the centre of the ground where Terry Danaher is there to Folds. Folds straight up in the air. They've been under pressure, although this could be another mark to Tony Hall here. No, he doesn't mark this one. He's still good enough to get in another hand pass. It was meant for Morris. Hall again, a hand pass to Schwab. Back to Hall.
Another one.
And there's another kick coming up. Oh, best on ground by a mile, Tony Hall today. Buckenara Over the top to Whitman. He might be caught. No, he gets the quick kick. Dunstall. Now, let's see if he can kick goal number 98.
Well, X marks the spot. Exactly the same kick as he had a couple of minutes ago.
Well, let's see if he puts his boot right through this one. Last time he didn't make the distance. There's the kick. And it might just float in or just offline, in fact, for a point. So he hasn't kicked all that well today, Bernie.
No, that's 3 goals for to Jason Dunstall, and a couple haven't made the distance, so he's really had the opportunity to kick the 100 today.
Watson straight up the ground to Anthony Danaher. He goes back to Folds. 76 to 56. Hawthorn leading, and just 4.5 minutes left. Greg Anderson. And it's Keane. Oh, great march by Peter Schwab. Not too sure. Buckenara's found himself in a hole here. Nobody on him. Out wide to Hall. Will he get his 20th hand pass? No, he goes for the kick. 16 and 19 for Tony Hall. Brereton spins out of trouble. Gets round on the right boot. Centering pass. Dunstall.
Surely this time he's only, what, 30 metres out of it, having shot directly in front. Good kick here from Dermott Brereton, and Dunstall leading into the right spot.
Well, he's had 3 chances in the last 3 minutes. This time he kicks the goal. That's number 98.
So still too short of the century for Jason Dunstall. 35,662 fans at VFL Park this afternoon saw Hawthorn by 26 points. Dunstall finished up with 4 for Essendon. Salmon, Baker and Harvey each kicked 2 goals. But right now, let's go up to the offices of the Sunday Press and say very good evening to sporting editor Scott Palmer.
Good evening, Peter.
Well, I guess everybody, Scotty, is talking about the Brereton incident. I know it was a lack of discipline, but it does have its funny side. It sort of reminded me of those games we used to play at school, like Hoppo Bumpo and Charlie Over the Water, etc.
And what about British Bulldog, Pete?
That one as well.
Yes, it's really a first. No one can remember it ever happening before. And surprisingly, the Bombers aren't even complaining. Kevin Sheedy said, quote, "I've always liked Brereton. I enjoy his play. I like the style of the boy." So he's got a pat on the back from Kevin Sheedy.
Well, obviously Ian Clayton was there to really lay down the law, but there were a couple of reports that he was reported. He wasn't, as it turned out.
No, and Alan Joyce isn't talking about the incident either. He said it's had no significant part to play in the outcome of the game, but he took his players away from all the trainers and all after it and had a quiet word to them, I think just to calm them down. And Dermott, in the rooms afterwards, was kept away from the press. The cameramen weren't even allowed to take his photo in the rooms, Pete.
Scotty, talked during the week, Darryl Baldock going back to Tasmania. Did he have anything more to say this afternoon?
Well, he stressed today that he will be coach of St Kilda next year, and he had a little fun aside to talk about the report that Parkin might be taking over this year. And next year, he said, "I wish him all the best, Pete. I think it's... he's in for a hard time down at Moorabbin, but maybe he wants to come as my assistant," he said. And also, they took his gumboots out to Victoria Park today, and they painted 3 stripes, the Adidas 3 stripes on them, and they put Snow Deli stickers on them, just to remind him that he is St Kilda.
Scotty, speaking of David Parkin, obviously he'd be pretty upset, but I understand he was upset in more ways than one out at Princes Park today.
Well, he was quite emotional in denying the Age story that he was going to St Kilda. He had to compose himself before he talked to the side today. And Weigard and the other board members of Fitzroy were trying to pacify him because he was quite an emotional man. He denied it completely and said, "I don't know what got into the Age." He said they're turning into a tabloid.
Well, we won't argue the score on that point, but looking at the other one, I guess Kevin Bartlett would be pretty happy.
Well, Kevin Bartlett is really happy. He said that... you know, his young players, next year they will not look in awe at those senior players higher on the list. He said, "We've done well, we've won 5 out of the last 9, and of course the Aboriginals took over down there at the MCG. They kicked 19 of the 37 goals. That's the Cracker brothers, Michael Mitchell and Philip Egan, who finished with 7 goals. A great effort."
And in closing, our punchliner, who have we got tomorrow?
Well, we've got a local girl, comes out from Churnside Park, Peter.
I'll look forward to it. Scotty, thanks very much indeed. Scott Palmer joining us from the Sunday Press, and he'll be in action on the footy panel tomorrow, of course, during Sports World, around about 10:45. OK, time now to check on fantastic footy flashbacks.
Footy flashbacks are proudly brought to you by NEC Computers, Communications and Home Entertainment.
Round 18 years ago, Carlton and South Melbourne performed a real humdinger, which saw scores next to even with just minutes to play. Blues half forward Sid Jackson, though, sealed the issue with this goal in time on to give Carlton a match by 4 points.
Jackson into the goal.
In 1973, in this round, Jackson was again in the thick of things, this time against Collingwood. Jackson was reported for striking Maggie fullback Jeff Clifton in what would become a bang-up affair. Carlton's Vin Waite and Collingwood's Rod Oborne would also have their numbers taken later in the match. 1977 now, and this the very best mark taken that season, arguably ever. Who else but Trevor Barker? A year on, and that man Barker did it again.
Barker, magnificent mark by Barker.
But Peter Moore would outshine him. This awarded the mark of that year. Hawthorn's Peter Curran was the magical one in 1984. He kicked 5 goals in the last quarter to almost single-handedly destroy Carlton. And didn't he enjoy all the fuss?
Curran thought about the pass. He straightens up from directly in front and shuts the gate as Hawthorn go to 19-14, 128. Carlton 14-12, 96.
2 very close matches highlighted this round last year. One saw Paul Meldrum seal Essendon's fate just before the siren. And the Eagles' Laurie Keane had the same effect on Hawthorn. This one of the goals which helped the West Australians beat the then reigning premiers by a point.
Footy flashbacks were proudly brought to you by NEC Computers, Communications and Home Entertainment.
Nation proud and strong, you can rely on FAI, marching right along. So for the best insurance cover, now's the time to find your car, your life, your boat, your van, and the family home. Call FAI, Car Owners Mutual, and we look after you.
You'd like a cup of tea? Come have a cup with me. 'Cause Lipton is the finest quality. We say the way is Lipton's any time of the day. Yes, the jiggler hits the spot, the jiggler's got the lot. We take the smallest leaves from the finest crop. For you, and me now. Lipton's is the finest tea. Who's running your business when you're out there running round? Call, voice call, who can contact your field force when they're out in the field. Call, voice call, and they're found.
Good evening, emergency calls from Data Bank Computers now.
7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Voice call can answer your phone and page you instantly across town or across Australia.
Who's got everything you always wanted to know? All the answering service and paging info. Call, voice call.
Right, children, what do we do if we get worms? That's right, Jenny. All the family take convention to really get rid of those threadworms. Don't say worms, say convention. What? Does the headmaster take convention?
This is the 4 and 20 export pie. It's bigger, chunkier, and now available oven fresh from these very special 4 and 20 hot shops. You'll love it. Because while 4 and 20 have taken the pie out of Australia, they've taken none of the Australian out of the pie.
To Princes Park now, where Carlton took on its co-tenant Fitzroy, who in turn last week produced one of its best displays of the year to perhaps put paid to the finals aspirations of the West Coast Eagles. Unpredictability, though, has for some time been one of the Lions' downfalls, while the Blues were still eyeing top spot, from which they won the premiership last year. Their percentage was not that far behind Hawthorn's, and they knew if the Hawks stumbled, the chance was there they could still finish at the head of the table. 4 compulsory changes, including Buckley and Rhys Jones, didn't help their cause, but regaining Glascott, Hunter and Nayley certainly did. Fitzroy replaced McGrath with Trewella. Our replay begins with some highlights of the first half, and with me in the commentary box are Ian Robertson and Don Scott.
Gale, up towards full forward. Gale's kick is very effective. In front, Armstrong. Snapshot for goal. Maybe this is the first goal. It looks good. Fitzroy's first.
Strooper tries to find somebody with a hand pass. Blakey's there. Inside 50. A shot at goal is close. Looks good, it's through.
Comes to the back. Gleeson, good roving. Oh, he's thrown off the football. Sartori there. Quick kick attempted by Thornton. Kick by Bradley. Nearly bounced over the player's head. I remember it's a goal.
Fitzroy get driven forward through the agency of Broderick. And a chance for the Lions again. Harris had 9 kicks in the first quarter over the line from 35 metres out directly in front. That's not a bad sort of a reply, and it's through for full points. Bradley breaking clear.
Bradley now kicks it directly towards goal. Centre half forward. Kernahan gets the ball down to his running player, Gleeson. Great snapshot's a goal! Terrific. Gleeson's left foot snap, high. Dorotic is there, and marks.
Eldrin from the left half-back flank, hugging the boundary of Prince's Park. It eludes Fraser Murphy. Alvin to half forward. Now here's a chance. The ball can be socket off the ground, and he's by Sartori. It's his second.
Brockhurst, tackled by Herman. Good play, Herman. Hand pass, long to Gleeson in the pocket. Time to steady. Shot for goal. Good. It's home. Gleeson keeps it there. No, kick off the ground by Wind. Another kick off the ground. Osborne, a third kick off the ground. Up towards the forward pocket area. Broderick, he's going to get it again. Forced to kick with the right foot. It's not bad. It's a goal. Great goal by Broderick. Elvin does. Can't get the hand pass away. Kernahan on the bottom of it. Comes out the back. Chance here for Glascott. Gets it off to Elvin. Elvin shot for goal. Looks okay. Tommy Elvin. He's nearly kicked it. He has. Right on the line. It's right over.
Good second quarter by Carlton. They booted 6-5 to 2-3 after Fitzroy led by 10 points at the first change. The third quarter was to be vital as we go back to Prince's Park now. Carlton leading by 16 points at the main change.
Second half at Prince's Park, and Fitzroy trailing by 16 points after Carlton booted 6-5 to 2-3 in the second quarter. Madden did well in the ruck in the first half. Nayley brought Carlton back into the game in the second term. Kernahan dives on top of it. And that comes Alvin. Socket away from Aitken. Harris in front of him. And Fitzroy threw Clayton off the ground. Through the Seagulls on centre wing. Down goes Robertson. And soccer tactics are plenty being used here. And Clayton loses out to Rui, who's just come onto the ground. Long kick up towards John Ironmonger. Out to Harris. Not a good hand pass from the big ruckman. He didn't measure that one too well. And out of bounds almost on the full because it dribbled off the boot of Leon Harris.
And Dorotic not lining up in this the second half. He was walking to the interchange bench with a limp. And Daru, his replacement.
Herman, well, you call him Daru and we'll call him Darui. I don't care who's correct. Gale lays it off. Now to Roos. Brockhurst got one hand to it. Now away goes the speedster Kapler. Kapler from left centre wing driving Fitzroy forward. And a strong mark in front of Hannah has been taken by Lynch.
Good mark.
Perhaps their best prospect up forward. Silvani, speaking of good marks. Did he make ground to that one? Good mark taken in front of Trewella. He gets it away to Elvin, and the Blues get clear again through the agency of Robertson.
Robertson forced to kick with the right foot. Good play by the Lion forward player. Gets it out wide to Glascott. A little bit of time to get around onto the left foot. Kicks it up towards half forward. And a good, brave mark taken by Gleeson. They're very, very difficult, those ones, but Gleeson didn't take his eye off the football. Between wing and half forward. He kicks it towards centre half forward. Thumped away. Murphy where he should be, at the base of the pack, off to Herman. Herman's shot for goal. Pretty close. Goal umpires over the goal post. It's a goal.
Ian Herman, his first, but set up by Fraser Murphy, and Murphy does all his good work up on that forward line. just a little chink in Fraser Murphy's armour is the fact that it's a pity that he can't row further up the ground. He does all his work up around that goal square, and when he does it, doesn't he do it well? He read that beautifully, set it up to Herman, and Herman didn't let him down. So number 25 made famous at Carlton.
Very important goal, the first one in the third quarter, particularly for Carlton. Good bounce by the umpire. Madden gets it down. Gleeson pushed off the football. Kick off the ground by Fitzroy. Chance there for, is it young Cruella? Yes. And he's been awarded a free kick. Probably a little bit of carelessness there by Hannah. But in these conditions, players, they're playing pretty well. Cruella's kick up towards half forward. Silvani at the back. Can't quite get hold of it. Now Broderick. Off it goes now. Kick by Strooper. Silvani gets the hand pass out. Aitken, time to steady. Short kick is a poor one. And Blakey takes the mark for Fitzroy at half forward. His kick equally as poor. Harris on the bottom of the pack, is it? Well, it's not Harris. Hand pass wide by Cruella. Kick by Armstrong up towards the front of the square. There's a free kick being paid down the ground. It's going to Fitzroy against Herman, because he crashed Blakey to the ground as he was kicking the football, and it may go to line directly in front of goal.
Well, played on there. That was a free kick, I presume, because the play-on was there. They didn't bounce the ball. A couple of interesting decisions.
Lyon should kick a goal for Fitzroy. He's hooked his kick. May have missed. Shocker.
It's a shocking kick.
Well, you shouldn't miss from there, Don.
No, he's kicked 2 points today, Ross, and that was a costly miss and a bad miss at that too. And well, you just can't afford to make those mistakes, can you, in front of goal? And lay down Mazaire gone begging.
The league football shouldn't miss them. Bill and Hannah, who's kicked in brilliantly today. Specialist task allotted him. He's performing it well. Awkward flight of the ball. Fitzroy player dragged, but he didn't have it as Clayton. And he'll take the free kick. The advantage rule is played. Blakey with his centering kick. A couple of players set up there. Stevens was there. But Carlton have got the numbers out of defence. Herman takes the hand pass from Nailey. And Carlton out of danger and, in fact, into attack. A strong mark was taken at half forward for the Blues by Sartori.
A good mark too. Strong, good mark by Sartori, because Stevens a very close checking defender we see here. And also, you've got to compliment the player delivering the ball, because he put it out into a space and allowed Sartori to run there with full confidence.
Sartori, oh sorry, Ian.
Slick handball by Nailey.
Well, he had a quiet first quarter, but came back in the second. That's his third goal. Carlton second this quarter.
I was just going to say, Peter, that it was set up really by Nailey gathering the football between half-back and centre and getting that handball away.
Yes, well, it's good play, and Carlton are really gathering strength there. Herman with that long kick, putting it out into space, and that's what you can do. If you can't deliver the ball, hit it on a player on the chest, put it out in front so he can run to it at top speed. Good play, Carlton.
Under 21 minutes left in the quarter. Carlton's second goal for the term. The Blues going right on with the job. Madden, Herman, here comes Nailey again. 50 out, he could just about make it. Another one in 30 seconds, and he has. Great play, Carlton. Illustrating, I think, perfectly done, getting the ball out of the centre.
Well, they do that well, Carlton, but just reflecting on when Nailey got the ball there, earlier in the season, he would have been pulled up by running too far. We watch this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oh, well, I've lost count how many steps he took, but
15.
But anyway, and it's good to see the umpires allowing that rule to go by the ball. But good play by Carlton.
The ruck work was tremendous. I mean, Justin Madden has
he hasn't missed a hit. He hasn't missed a hit out.
The centre knockouts, he's been great. Absolutely fantastic. Back in the centre. This time Ironmonger gets the tap out. It's not quite as effective as Madden's though. Scramble. Herman's kick off the ground. Kick by Thornton up towards half forward for Carlton. Kennedy at the rear. Falls over at a crucial stage. Good gather now by Lyon. Round onto the left foot. High ball out wide, and Broderick takes the mark about 35 metres from goal for Fitzroy.
Got a lot of composure when he gets the ball, Ross Lyon. The way he just came up with the ball, went left, then right, and spotted Broderick.
Well, Broderick should get the distance. He's gone back a fair way from the man on the mark. Kicking for his second goal. Well, he doesn't quite get the distance. It lands in the square, punched away by Madden. Carlton have got the players at the fall of the ball. Kick around the corner by Kennedy. out towards half-back, and Robertson is outmarked by Broderick. And the young Fitzroy player will have his second shot for goal within 30 seconds. He's not shooting for goal, he's kicking it to the front. A good mark taken out there by Lyon.
Really all it's done is open up the face of goal, because Lyon would be kicking from the same distance as what Broderick was.
Well, we know the ball's heavy. Lyon gets under it, close to the line. It's touched by Silvani right on the line. Punched through for behind to Fitzroy. Gee, he's up high in the air. He's down low at ground level. He's marking, he's kicking goals. Sensational player, Stephen Silvani. Kicking in to be done again by Hannah.
32 points the difference. Carlton have kicked 9 of the last 11 goals. Since quarter time, they've been well and truly on top of Fitzroy. At midfield, Blakey kicks it over the head of his lookalike in Kapler, but picking up well as Trewella, who started on the bench. Lynch has to get rid of it quickly. It spills for Kennedy, and his kick goes out of bounds, out a wing.
Set up by a Silvani tackle.
So boundary throw-in on the outer side. Which is probably not as heavy as the member stand flank. Gets a little bit more sunshine. Well, socket away by Loken. Up towards Thomas. Now, Carlton player nearly had his head pulled off was Glascott, but he shrugs the tackle well. Glascott up to Blackwell. Courageous mark taken in front of Roos. Wayne Blackwell kicks it inside 50. Out comes Sartori and Stevens. Fraser Murphy dispossessed pretty quickly. Might have a second chance. Stevens tries to scoop it towards the boundary line. Roos, well shepherded. Fitzroy skipper tries to find Kapler, and he's done so. Short pass. Leon Harris. 9 kicks in the first quarter. Drifted out of the play a little bit in the second term. Alvin late on the scene. And here's Mudden your right. Trewella takes the mark. Back to Harris. Went for a short pass. Clayton. Trewella, they're messing around a little bit, Fitzroy. And plenty of Carlton players in defence, led by Tommy Alvin. From inside the defensive 50-metre line, he's booted it out towards the centre wing position. Brockhurst got underneath the ball a little bit. Couldn't control it. Thomas, who limped off the ground at the second quarter, can't control it. It's out of bounds adjacent to the interchange area.
Well, Meldrum now playing up on the forward line for Carlton, being picked up by Brockhurst.
On centre wing, boundary throw-in. Ironmonger and Madden, won by the latter. Gleeson roving well. See, I would rate him possibly one of the best 4 or 5 rovers in the VFL at the moment. He was legged, Paul Roos, and he'll get a free kick on right half-back flank, and he's found Thomas on his own.
Thomas on centre wing. Good smother there by Herman. Wind. Kick from a standing start up towards half-forward. High over the pack was Trewella, but at the back, Alvin. Into the centre, Nailey. Good gather. Good pressure by Gale. Ball comes clear. Chance for Brockhurst. Nailey does the tackling. Ball goes free to Kapler. Kapler's short kick gives Blakey a chance, and he gets past Aitken with a bit of class. Back it goes to Kapler. Kapler outside 50. Sends one to the square. No mark. At the back, a great tackle. That Fitzroy player wasn't going to get clear. And we'll have a ball up in the goal square.
The player instrumental in getting that ball down there, Darren Kapler, has had a quiet day, so you've got to give a pat on the back to his opposite number, David Glascott.
Bounce right in the goal square for Fitzroy. Players all striving to gain an opportunity to have a quick snapshot. Madden grabbing the football out of the air. Kick out by Silvani, comes out wide. Aitken, a little slow, but he's quick enough to get the football a little further away from Fitzroy's goal. And we'll have a boundary throw in between wing and half forward, slightly favouring the Lions. Ironmonger. Not quite as good a game as last Friday a week ago against the Eagles. Madden. Down it comes to Gleeson. Kicked into his own man, Aitken. Kick off the ground by Wynn. Gleeson, Wind again. Aitken. Out the back, it's come off a Fitzroy player's foot, and the free kick will be taken for Carlton by Gleeson. A little bit of good fortune for the Blues. No one on the mark for Fitzroy. Poor play. Gleeson's kick covers 50 metres up towards half-forward. In front, Nailey. Murphy, good strong play by the bustling Rover. Up towards half-forward. Meldon will shoot for goal. He's pushed off it a little bit there by Brockhurst, and his kick goes wide over the line for a boundary throw in about 3 or 4 metres around from the behind post.
He does that well, Fraser Murphy, running with the flight of the ball and reading it off the hands of Pax.
Sartori doing the ruck work. Tries to get it over the back. Fitzroy defence under pressure. Thornton, Clayton. Quick kick by Clayton out towards the half-back flank area. Robertson and Broderick there. And Robertson, like a general in charge of the army, allows it to go over for a boundary throw-in. Play about 75 to 80 metres around from the Carlton goal. The Blues 10-5, lead Fitzroy 4-9.
And about halfway through the third quarter, Nailey and Clayton. And Latter finally wins out. Across the body up towards Trewella. Robertson. Out of bounds in front of him. Unusual jumper. So on the centre wing. Once again a throw in. Ironmonger and Madden. Madden certainly had the better of that duel today. Murphy, a juggle. Knock on to Robertson. Gives it back to Aitken. He gets caught pretty well by Harris. Glascott is on the end of it. Tries to find Nailey or Kernahan. Kernahan with the big fist down. Herman fumbles at the crucial moment. Gale overruns it. Clayton gets it back to Thornton. Wobbly punt kick. Didn't look where he kicked that. And two Carlton players spoiled each other. A real comedy of errors this. Now Bradley. Did he keep it in play? Yes, says the boundary umpire. Back to Gleeson, who's been the best rover on the ground today. Although Nailey's given him some opposition in the second quarter. Now it comes to Sartori. Did he keep it in play? Yes, to Kernahan. And that would have been a miraculous goal had he kicked it. He did well even to register one flag. Behind the Carlton. Only 4 kicks though to Steve Kernahan, so as such Paul Roos has done a pretty good job. Carlton still double Fitzroy's score, 66 to 33. Gale in front of Murphy. He won't outspeed him. He's out of bounds.
No, great tackle.
He'll take the free kick about 60 to 70 metres out. Couldn't get onto that one at all. At the back is Ironmonger. Brockhurst lost it, likewise did Thomas. Thomas might get another chance. No, he didn't. Armstrong with the long sleeve jersey tries to pick it up. So too is Gleeson, who takes the hand pass from Melbourne. Melbourne and puts it through
Nissan Patrol, the most advanced four-wheel drive down under. It makes all other four-wheel drives seem primitive. With Go Anywhere Patrol's all-new 4-coil suspension, you get the handling and ride comfort of the car. Patrol's powerful 4.2-litre diesel or petrol 6s leave all other four-wheel drives back in the Stone Age. Nissan Patrol. It's Australia's 4x4 of the year. That's Nissan know-how, building the right vehicles for Australia.
What I'd really like for Father's Day is an electric shaver. One that can give me a closer, smoother shave than I'm used to. A shaver with 3 settings. 1 for my chin and cheeks. 2 for the difficult areas. And 3 for trimming the sideburns. A clever cord or cordless shaver I can plug in or recharge and keep in the car or take with me to the office and even on the fishing trips.
Buy Dad a Braun shaver and you could win him one of 200 Hertz luxury cars for a weekend.
Now that's a great Father's Day gift.
When will I be famous?
From the UK comes the band that's taken the world by storm, Bros.
Will I be famous?
Their debut album, Push. 10 electrifying new songs. Push for Bros, because they're hot. Bros, available on cassette, compact disc and record.
The benefits of IOOF's new managed bond are quite easily explained. Your investment is spread to give the steady returns of fixed interest securities and the potential higher returns of select equity shares bought in the stock market and property trusts. All, of course, tax-free after 10 years. And because we don't take risks with your money, you don't have to choose between one or the other. With IOOF managed bond, you can now do both.
If you don't want to miss any highlights of the Olympics, here's an offer you also don't want to miss. Buy any video recorder from the NEC range before September the 17th, and if you're not totally happy with NEC's high performance, we'll give you your money back. So catch all the top performances on Australia's champion VCR from NEC. See your local NEC retailer now about this champion offer.
Let's wait and see. He's got...
Every minute of every day, a Continental jet takes off to one of more than 147 airports worldwide. That's more than 1,600 flights each day, every day. So next time you want to go somewhere, you can be sure there'll be a Continental flight on the day you want to fly.
$39 points the difference now. 12 minutes left in the third term.
Ironmonger gets the tap out, but Carlton are on the end of it again. Chance for Thornton. He gets a quick kick. Hannah's in the way, and Hannah takes the mark in the centre of the, well, one could only say a very slippery Princess Park oval. Hannah just manages to keep his footing. Good mark, Herman in front of the pack. Tapped it to himself and gathered it again. A little bit of experience is really coming to the fore with Ian Herman. He kicked towards full forward. Okay. Kernahan nearly marks. Gleeson again. Goal number 5 coming up. Breaks the tackle and puts it through. 5 goals to Adrian Gleeson.
Well, he's cutting the ribbons, Don, hasn't he?
Oh, he's a real little parasite in the kind sense of the word. He really does hover underneath those packs. It's terrific efforts, copybook stuff, and it's good to see the little players get underneath. Naily number 1 and then Gleeson running onto the ball, but they really do feed off the hands of the pack, the Carlton little fellows. Terrific stuff. Well done, Adrian Gleeson. 5 goals. Good effort.
So Fitzroy have kicked only 2 goals in the last 16.
Well, as a measuring stick, this performance by Carlton's not bad, I would think. Madden got the tap out. Really didn't go to Carlton's advantage. Robertson, Bradley. Chance again now for Blackwell. Up towards half forward. Kernahan striving hard. Rouge can't break clear. Kick off the ground now. Back into the centre. Here's a chance for Lyon. Lyons kick up towards full forward. Coming across in front. Play on, says the umpire. Derui gets it back out to Silvani. Silvani's got a player in support. It's Robertson. Looking to get back onto his favourable left foot. He does so. Chips it in short. Glasgow takes the mark. The Blues are starting to look like very much a superior side. Out wide it goes to Gleeson. Gleeson now with a little bit of flair. Gets around. Over the top it goes to Glasgow. Trying a bit of fancy dance stuff. He's caught with the football. Comes clear now. Here's a chance for Fitzroy. Kapler runs up towards half forward and puts the Lions right into attack. No mark taken there by Lynch. The Carlton defence, Derui there. Tries to flip it out. Osborne's there. Robertson doing the tackling. Osborne somehow gets clear. Left foot kick to the front of the square and a good mark's been taken for Fitzroy by Thomas.
I think Fitzroy could look at making a change as well. Maybe Stevens from full-back going up to the full forward position, and Lynch, who's just not strong enough up there, a young fellow, could go back and have a go at the full-back position. But they need some strength, and it's hard to find Fitzroy players that have got good body in the side today.
Well, Thomas should kick a goal. He does so. Badly needed one for Fitzroy. That's their 5th. They trail 5-9, 39, and Carlton 12-6, 78.
Well, it's their first goal of the quarter. It took them around about 20 minutes to get it.
Well, Keith Thomas not finishing off like he did last week. It was probably last week his best game for Fitzroy since coming from Norwood. He's played up on the ball today, but getting onto that ball, that was from Richard Osborne. He's 26 and was wondering a couple of weeks ago whether he would be going back to Norwood, and actually they've pulled him straight off the ground. There he is on screen there, and coming on Billy Logan, another South Australian.
9 3/4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Carlton go forward again, this time through Fraser Murphy from the edge of the square. Murphy long, and a good safe mark taken down there by Brockhurst over Meldrum. And a transfer play to the member stand flank. Looking for Wind. Wind's kick not particularly long. And Fitzroy through the agency of Blakey should be able to get out of it. Fires out a long hand pass, measures off Wind. And another chance for the Roys to get clear through Thornton. And Carlton's tackling is excellent at the moment. You've got to have it first. Kennedy might get the free kick. The advantage rule paid. Herman with the centering kick out to half forward. Meldrum got a nice old heave-ho in the back from Brockhurst. He'll soccer it off the ground. And the race is on. And Brockhurst will be content to paddle it over the boundary line. That's to the annoyance of Carlton supporters. No free kick. Boundary throw in, right half forward flank for Carlton. Ironmonger and Madden. Neither got an effective tap out to that. Stalemate. Murphy, he might have had a hand on it first. He wasn't going too far. Umpires this afternoon have been particularly hard on the players trapping the ball underneath them. But if they're consistent, we can't complain. Glasgott's kick is high. 25 up, 25 down. Didn't travel much distance otherwise. Meldrum flips it out the back. Osborne, a long way from goal, chasing kicks. Here's a race. He'll get there before Alvin does, then keeps it in play. Some clever footwork, might have been dragged but not in possession by Alvin. Out to Kennedy, and Carlton player down behind play.
That's a fair shirt front or Shepherd, and Tommy Alvin was wide open.
Certainly was.
The garden gate in the wind. And he looks as if he's all right.
Boundary throw in, and again going Carlton's way. And the umpires found a free kick this time, going downfield.
They're predictable, the umpires. As soon as there is a skirmish, they pay the first free kick.
Just agree with that. Kernahan's kick. Now the half forward. Meldrum has it socked away from him by Stevens. Glasgott. We'll be watching the Socceroos, these guys. It's out of bounds. Carlton's right half forward flank. Let's watch Tommy Alvin, as Don said, wide open.
Bang.
Good hip and shoulder.
Loves that stuff, Scotty, doesn't he?
Not enough of it.
Sartori taps it down. Murphy. Good knock away by Brockhurst. And steaming his way through, Paul Roos. Long kick to the edge of the square, knocked away by Hannah. In comes Aitken, using the body pretty solidly. Things might get ruined now. Hannah takes the hand pass from Nailey. Now he can kick long, Millen Hannah. There's plenty of distance with that one. And Brockhurst will see it safely over the boundary line. Carlton's right forward pocket.
Peter, it was great to see Alvin back into the play very, very quickly there to get that hand pass out to Hannah. He really looked fairly sick at the end of that Loken shirt front. 5 metres around from the right behind posts in front of the scoreboard. Kernahan to the back. Nailey, shot for goal, looks good. Goal.
For some car makers, to win Australia's Car of the Year award would be an end in itself. When Nissan Skyline won, it was just the beginning. Now Nissan backs Skyline with a 2-year warranty. And in the Nissan 600,000K Enduro, Skyline went all the way to prove that it really is the winning Aussie 6.
Very nice.
Very. Nissan, building the right cars for Australia.
If you need a locksmith, do what I do.
Use the Melbourne Big. It's much faster.
The Melbourne Big. The buying guide Melbournians are turning to.
While some people putt around with car rentals, Budget has a real sports offer. This month, for only $70 a day, you can rent any one of our exciting sports cars. Exus, Alika, MR2, and more. So be game. Give us a call.
Kentucky Fried Chicken announced 2 great new specials.
10 pieces of chicken and 3 buns and gravy.
Just $9.99.
16 pieces of chicken
and 6 buns and gravy
for just $15.99.
I'll start again. 10 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken, 3 buns and gravy for just $9.99. Or 16 pieces of chicken, 6 buns and gravy for just $15.99. So... Big fast!
Who can you bank on when you're doing your best? When you're getting ahead and it's time to invest? Who can you bank on? Who'll stick around? 1 minute you're up, the next thing you're down. Who can you bank on when you get on top? To make sure your investments really take off.
After quarter time, Carlton well on top. They kicked 12-10 to 4-5 in the second and third quarters and went into the final quarter with what appeared to be an unbeatable lead. Let's go now back to Princes Park and some highlights of the final quarter.
Chance for Broderick. Broderick inside 50 metres, shoots for goal with the left foot, and the mark's been taken by Lynch. And a great smother by Silvani. Well, that just typifies the excellence of that player. Great interception to Rui, and from a standing start kicks the ball 60 metres. What a great kick. Meldrum balks and weaves. Left foot shot for goal will roll through. Gone.
And Fitzroy will finally get it out of the centre. They haven't done it much today. Loken's kick up the half forward. There he is again, Silvani. Broderick shoots the hand pass out. Chance for Kapler to goal. And Kapler registered full points. 48 points the difference. Hardly a pretty sight. Loken tries to get the hand pass away. Intercepting for Carlton is Herman. His kick is long. It could bounce through. Oh, it's like a topspin lob. Away it went and through it goes.
Meldrum. Flip out again by Meldrum. Gleeson on to Murphy. Murphy into an open goal. Put out your glasses. Another one for the Blues.
They're running in numbers. Bradley gets away from Gale. Boots Carlton forward up towards the 50-metre line. Going through solidly, David Glasgow. He's well shepherded too. Gets around Brockhurst. Hunter, and the second kick can score a goal, and has done.
He was always going to get that football.
Looks for the big pack in front. Roving it well. Gleeson for goal number 6, and has got it, yes, sir. Carlton with one goal with quarter time. They're now 18 or 19-11. Good knock on by Kernahan into the muddy centre. Bradley off the ground. Intelligent play. Murphy, as usual, at the fore of the ball. His partner in crime is Nailey. Gets the hand pass out to Herman. He'll have to kick it quickly. Does so. And accurately. Albert in front of Osborne. He has been most of the day. Gale put his body in well. Aitken comes out for the ball. It's a high kick and it travels about 20 metres. Up and down. Now there's Gleeson. He's been brilliant this afternoon. And Meldrum, all the time in the world, to straighten up, steady, and bang through another one.
Carlton kicked 21-11 to 6-9 in the last three quarters to register a very convincing win there this afternoon by 76 points. Gleeson finished up with 6 goals. Kapler got 2 for Fitzroy, and the crowd 15,467 at Princes Park. 2 other games played today. We'll check on the highlights of those after this break.
Nissan Patrol, the most advanced four-wheel drive down under. It makes all other four-wheel drives seem primitive. With Go Anywhere Patrol's all-new 4-coil suspension, you get the handling and ride comfort of the car. Patrol's powerful 4.2-litre diesel or petrol 6s leave all other four-wheel drives back in the Stone Age. Nissan Patrol. It's Australia's 4x4 of the year. That's Nissan know-how, building the right vehicles for Australia.
Does your throat feel like a rug? An itch way down that you can't rub? Vicks throat drops have the way to help soothe the bug away. What a difference it makes with every throat drop you take. Vicks are medicated to work and hit that bug where it lurks.
Helps get rid of the bug.
The Australian Constitution. As the basis for our system of government, it's important to all of us. And a referendum? That's your chance to vote yes or no on proposed changes to our Constitution. But if you've changed address and haven't updated your enrolment, you may not be eligible to vote. So to make sure you have your say, simply pick up an enrolment form at any post office or electoral office and update your enrolment. Come on, have your say. Update your enrolment today. But hurry, rolls close this Monday.
Oceans of sun, a paradise found, decks of leisure, there's fun all around.
Make new friends, a top feeling, love each day. There's real meaning. It's all about friendship. There's so much fun on the one ship.
This week at Myer, catch the latest quality VFL approved knit jumpers and VFL approved sweat tops.
quality VFL tops will really be taking off. And so will VFL-approved tracksuit pants. Though, of course, there are VFL-approved footy shorts. Look for the VFL symbol at all Myer stores.
Last week on Probe, we exposed the 25-year wait for a government move on housing.
It stinks. They're devious, conniving buggers.
At a house from the government that moves on its own.
And he said it was a very sound house. He even hit on inside the wall and he said, yes, it's a real sound house, Mr. Scazzo, he said.
Plus, the dairy farm where the farmers are milked.
One of the beneficiaries is a cousin of a board member.
It's certainly a rip-off, there's no doubt about it.
Who will be targeted this week? Find out tonight on 7.
Well, 2 other matches were played today in round 18 at the MCG and Victoria Park, and Dixie Marshall has some highlights.
Conditions weren't the best when Tony Shaw led the Magpies out in his 200th match, but the outlook brightened when he put Collingwood in front early on. Despite his best efforts, though, the Saints had by far the better of the opening term. Long spells in attack earned goals from Nathan Burke and Nicky Winmar.
Oh, looks OK, Nathan Burke.
St Kilda's 8-point lead, though, at quarter time disappeared in the first few minutes of term 2. The key Magpie, the much improved Mick McGuan, who here set up a Brian Taylor goal.
McGuan now, short pass into Taylor, beauty on his chest.
Then Stuart Loy began tearing Manson apart in the ruck. Nicky Winmar flew high and the Saints got back in front before Tony Shaw won back the advantage for the Magpies right on half-time.
He's hooked it just a bit, but it might make it. It has.
And Collingwood's push carried on into the third quarter. Shane Morwood, now at half-forward, was proving a handful. Even James Manson lifted. He's not pretty, but he's effective. Trailing at the final change, Rod Owen put the Saints within 3 points early in the final term, but when best on ground McGuan goaled midway through, the Magpies had the game all wrapped up.
With the drop punt, has put it through.
Conditions at the MCG, the standard of the game between North Melbourne and Richmond was remarkably high, and the Tigers were the first off the mark. But thanks to the brilliance of the Cracker brothers, North replied quickly. Philip Egan looks set for a big day with a brilliant opening quarter. In fact, he kicked 4 in the first term to give the Tigers a 9-point lead at the break. And when Egan wasn't kicking goals himself, he was providing teammates with opportunities, and his outstanding form was obviously upsetting North. The Tigers were off target in the second term, but some fine individual efforts from the Kangaroos saw them trail by less than 2 goals at the long break. Michael Mitchell gave the Tigers the spark they needed in the third quarter. And his brilliance proved the turning point, setting up Richmond's 6th win of the season and boosting their chances of avoiding that wooden spoon.
Today's game is a part of the Elders IXL 1988 VFL Premiership season.
And time to check the ladder now. Hawthorn on top and 2 games clear of Carlton, but now with a much healthier percentage after their big win over Fitzroy today. Collingwood, Melbourne and Essendon making up the 5. But Essendon just one of 5 teams that can still qualify for the finals. Tomorrow, a big day of sport on 7. Don't forget the NBL Final Series, Game 1. You'll be seeing that tomorrow at 12 noon between the Canberra Cannons and the North Melbourne Berra Giants. And 2 games tomorrow afternoon to complete round 18. From Subiaco, the West Coast Eagles versus Melbourne. You'll see that live from 2 o'clock here on 7. And the game out at Fitzroy tomorrow afternoon. A Sunday game at the Western Oval, Fitzroy and Brisbane. The replay on HSV tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. As I said, a big day of sport on 7. We certainly hope you can join us. Good night to you all.